Good morning, everyone. Today, we're going to explore an intriguing corner of the internet called the dark web. You can think of the dark web as the hidden part of the internet because it is not easily found on a normal search engine such as Google or Bing. The dark web isn't all about illegal activities, despite what you might have heard of. It's more like a secret neighborhood online where people value their privacy and stay hidden behind the layers of anonymity. In this presentation, we'll take a peek into what the dark web is, how it works, and why it's different from the website that we visit every day. We'll keep it simple and uncover the basics so that we can understand this lesser known side of the internet together. This presentation is called Exploring the Dark Web, and now, moving on to the first slide of the presentation. The dark web is a place on the internet where various activities takes place, some legal and some illegal. It is commonly associated with activities such as drug trafficking, selling stolen data, offering hacking services, and engaging in illicit trades. However, it's important to know that there are also uses of the dark web. For example, it can be used for communication, providing anonymity to journalists or activists, and facilitating information in exchange in region with internet access. Accessing the dark web requires the use of an anonymizing browser called Tor. As the Tor browser routes your web page requests to a series of proxy servers operated by thousands of volunteers around the world to render your IP address unidentifiable and untraceable. Tor works like magic, but the result is an experience that's like the dark web itself. It is unpredictable, unreliable, and maddeningly slow. Still, for those willing to put up with the inconvenience, the dark web provides a memorable glimpse of the seamy underbelly of the human experience without the risk of skulking around in the dark alley. Next up are dark web content. First off, the dark web can have a marketplaces. Marketplaces have become widely known for their notoriety, forums and communities. There are forums and communities on the dark web that covers a wide range area of topics. Whistleblower platform. Part of the dark web offers a platform that claims to protect the anonymity of whistleblowers, such as journalists or individuals who wish to share sensitive information without disclosing their identities. Illegal activities. Regrettably, the dark web has gained a reputation for hosting illegal activities. Misconception versus reality about the dark web. Not everything found on the dark web is illegal. Although the dark web has connections to activities, it doesn't solely consist of content. There are morally acceptable purposes such as enabling communication for activists or journalists, providing privacy tools, and facilitating forums for discussing on various topics. It's not always dangerous to access the dark web. While there are risks involved associated with the dark web, simply accessing it doesn't guarantee encountering danger. However, engaging in activities or interacting with content can expose you to risks such as malware, scams, and potential legal consequences. The dark web isn't completely inaccessible. Accessing the dark web requires software like the Tor browser, but it's not entirely out of reach. Users can enter the dark web with tools and caution. However, locating content might be challenging due to its nature of impossible to get track on. The dark web, although the dark web provides a degree of anonymity, it is not completely foolproof. Law enforcement agencies and cybersecurity experts have developed a technique to trace activities on the dark web, particularly when they involve actions. It is important to be cautious and avoid any carelessness or mistakes that could compromise one's anonymity and lead to identification. Not all dark web transactions exclusively rely on cryptocurrencies. While cryptocurrencies are commonly used for transactions on the dark web due to their anonymous nature, there are instances where other forms of payments may be utilized as well. The dark web is not exclusively used by criminals. While criminal activity do exist on the dark web, it's incorrect to assume that everyone uses it engages in behavior. For some individuals access the dark web for reasons such as privacy protection, bypassing censorship restriction, or conducting research. Cybercrime and dark web. Cybercrime pertains to activities carried out through the use of computer, networks, or digital technologies. It encompasses a spectrum of action conducted in cyberspace, such as hacking, phishing, stealing someone's identity, distributing malware, committing financial fraud, and more. These criminal acts can target individual businesses, governments, or critical infrastructure systems. It can also result in losses, data breaches, and disruption. The dark web is closely associated with cybercrime due to its encrypted nature. These characteristics create an environment that facilitates activities. The dark web versus the deep web. The terms deep web and dark web are sometimes used interchangeably, but they are not the same. Deep web refers to anything on the internet that is not indexed by and therefore accessible via a search engine such as Google. Deep web content includes anything behind a paywall or requires sign-in credentials. It also includes any content that its owner have blocked web crawlers from indexing. Medical records, fee-based content, membership websites, and confidential corporate web page are just a few examples of what makes up the deep web. Estimate place the size of the deep web between 96% and 99% on the internet. Only a tiny portion of the internet is accessible through a standard web browser, generally known as the clear web. The dark web is a subset of the deep web that is intentionally hidden, requiring a specific browser or to access as explained below. No one really knows the size of the dark web, but most estimates put it at around 5% of the total internet. Again, not all the dark web is used for illicit purposes despite its ominous sounding name. What are some of the dangers of the dark web? In the dark web, you risk your freedom and could face severe legal consequences if you are caught buying unauthorized firearms or illegal drugs, or end up on a child pornography website while browsing the dark web. You could face steep legal action. No security provision. This part of the internet doesn't include security provisions like the one you are used onto the World Wide Web, such as built-in protection against malicious websites in your web browser. For example, both Chrome and Firefox warn you about dangerous websites that steal your data in phishing attacks. This doesn't happen on the Tor browser. Risks of device infection are possible unless you are protected by a unique cybersecurity setup. Going on the dark web means you'll risk infecting your devices with malware, ransomware, and Trojan horse viruses. Financial scam. Given the illicit nature of conversations and interaction on the dark web, you can even get caught in a scam or becoming an unwitting accomplice and risk prosecution. Next up is the history of dark web. The dark web first officially appeared in the early 2000s along with the creation of Freenet, which was developed by Ian Clark to secure users against government intervention and cyber attacks. The system, which is still available today, allows users to express themselves freely without being tracked online. The US Naval Research Laboratory founded a project called the Onion Router or Tor. Tor offered intelligence sources a way to communicate easily and safely, especially in hostile areas where personal safety is key. It is now one of the most common browsers used to access the dark web, using databases to help people make their way around and find the information they need. The rise of cryptocurrencies increased the popularity of the dark web, especially for cybercriminals. That's because digital currencies often provide a great deal of anonymity for people who buy and sell on the dark web. Because of its association with certain illicit activities, there have been called for regulation of the dark web. For instance, the G20 and the Financial Action Task Force or FATF have both called for a cryptocurrency company to provide information on buyers and sellers in transactions conducted online. This is especially true, they say, to help law information track criminal organizations and illicit activities. Now, to conclude this video, the dark web is a complex and hidden part of the internet that operates beyond the scope of traditional search engine. It is often associated with anonymity and encryption, providing a platform for both legal and illegal activities. Now, the list below contains some key part about the presentation. First off is its anonymity and encryption. The dark web allows users to browse and communicate anonymously, often using tools like the Tor browser. Its, its encrypted nature provides a privacy but also fosters a haven for illicit activities. Diversity of content. Content on the dark web ranges from legitimate and ethical uses like anonymous communication for journalists or activists to illegal marketplaces, forums discussing illegal activities, and the sale of illegal goods and services. Illegal activities. While not everything on the dark web is illegal, it has gained notoriety for hosting illegal marketplaces, drug trafficking, hacking services, stolen data, and more. Next up is the law enforcement challenges. Law enforcement agencies globally work to combat cybercrimes on the dark web, employing surveillance, infiltration, partnership, and technological tools to identify and apprehend criminals and cybercriminals. However, the dynamic and hidden nature of the dark web poses an ongoing challenges. Risk and caution. Accessing the dark web carries risks, including exposure to illegal content, malware scams, and potential legal repercussions for engaging in illegal activities. And lastly, the complexities and risks associated with the dark web is crucial. It is a space where privacy, anonymity, illicit activities, and legal uses coexist, requiring caution and awareness, and a responsible approach for anyone seeking to explore or interact with it. Now, that is all for my presentation. I hope all of you learned a valuable lessons about the dark web and how you can explore it safely. The dark web is a scary place, but if used correctly, it can provide you a fun and enjoyable experience. It is a place where both the illegal and legal activity takes place, But I hope this presentation gives you an idea on what to do while exploring the dark web and gives a warning everyone trying to access it on what you might see in the dark web and what you can do in it. That is all for my presentation. Thank you all for listening.